Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I want to hop right into this because it is a little long-winded, but you're going to find the great DermaFrac protocols that you've been wanting, that you want to do a great consultation for your clients prior to doing DermaFrac. You want to give them the best results possible. So you're going to need to have a game plan. So I want to show you today what that game plan looks like in my world. So everybody's a little subjective. They may take on this procedure a little differently than I do. Remember, there's always more than one way to skin a cat, and my way is not the only way. But I want to show you what's been working for me and what works for my providers as well. And as you know, when you do get your DermaFrac, please contact me. I want to work with you one on one with models so that you can get the most out of your procedure. And today, what I'm talking about a lot too is how to get the longevity out of that 10 milliliters of serum that comes in every box. And we want to make sure that we don't underutilize it or overutilize it too quickly. So I have strategies in place that will make this easy for you so that you won't run out of serum and you won't have leftover serum. So let's get started. And also, we're doing a giveaway today. I'll be giving away a growth factor complete kit with the roller and the growth factor of 0.5, and also a nice handful of the microdermabrasion tips here. They're crystal impregnated pads and they're awesome. They're one-time use. So you know that your clients always are getting a great microdermabrasion. So, okay, let me start here. And also, if you want in on the giveaway, just in the comments say, love my DermaFrac and where you're watching from. You have to be a DermaFrac provider in order to win one because you couldn't do anything with it if you didn't. Hello, Sabrina. Yeah. Okay, everybody, just go ahead and comment during the broadcast, and I will spin at the end and we'll see who wins. Anywho, let's get started here. Um, Okay, so I'm going to be as quick as possible. This little video here is just a quick little intro, lets you kind of see and lets you hear what the clients hear when they're having this procedure done. It's all of that sucking and slurping and it sounds like a little celery being chopped up, but you can see it rolls nicely onto the skin, bathing those needles all of the time with whatever serum you're going to use. And we're going to discuss that as well. And if there are questions in the meantime, please let me know. For those of you that are hopping on, and this is my business channel, if you are not part of my DermaFrac community, please go ahead and join. This whole slideshow will be in that group for you to go over, to look at, to remind yourselves of the protocols, how I got from point A to point Z with some of my clients. So go ahead and join. You must be a skincare professional to join this group, however. So even if you have another device that you're using, I want you to see how fast, how quick, how easy this microchanneling device is over any of them on the market. So I have used them all, and I can tell you that this is the simplest way to microchannel and get quick results within 3 treatments, and we do them every other week if necessary. So let me pop up. Okay, so I just want to show you a few of what our providers are doing. And so you can use this slideshow if you like. If you are a DermaFrac provider, by all means, just make sure that you keep the watermarks on. And we'll be discussing some of these results that you're seeing here and how we got there. and how we are able to tell the story to our client in order for them to see what they can be. They want to see before and afters because they picture themselves in those before and afters as well. So it is super important. If you're my client, please by all means use my photos here, so long as you keep all of those nice watermarks from the providers intact. So let's and again, any questions along the way, just feel free to stop. Okay, so people always say, well, Steph, okay, I have this device or I have that device. Why is this better than all of the others? Well, I can tell you right now, DermaFrac has been a big game changer in my practice. I'm older, I'm 66. I don't want to have procedures in my office that take a long time. I want to wind down, but I don't want to wind down my services or the money that I can make. So, a 30-minute service in your office with microchanneling is ideal. Most other services like this are an hour, hour and a half. The lowest cost of USA made consumables, like Skin Pen, is $82. DermaFrac is $42. So there's differences for sure, and but being an American made and consumables being made in America, it's exfoliation and infusion. So most microchanneling devices don't infuse. You may rub some hyaluronic acid or growth factor over the skin, hoping that you're pushing it into the skin, but this is actually bathed each needle as we go, and those needles get into zero point 0.5 or 0.25 or even a little deeper depending on the suction that you're using on your machine. We don't need to numb. So if you don't need to numb, that means you have just cut 20, 25 minutes off of your time that your client is going to be in the chair. Time is money. So if you don't have to do that, that's just one more plus. No sheet mask. It's optional. Now, I've done microchanneling with other devices for years, since 1993. And I got to tell you, every time you do microchanneling, the skin heats up, it gets warm, it gets hot, it gets really flushed. Well, when you're infusing serum and your client says, that feels kind of cool, by the way. So you know that you're hydrating the skin, which I don't need to use a sheet mask. Now, if you love to fluff it up and create more of a luxury experience after this procedure, by all means, throw on a sheet mask and spend that extra money and time. But if that's what you like to do for your clients, then by all means do that. We get quicker results because we treat our clients at closer intervals than any other micro channeling device on the market. And if you are in a spa or a multi practitioner area, it's a very duplicatable procedure. So everyone can pretty much do it exactly the same way so that clients coming in don't have to have that one particular practitioner if they happen to not be there. So it's that duplicatable, and your clients will love that. Oh, there's okay, and Coral, love your DermaFrac, awesome. Okay, so let me keep moving along so you get to see these fabulous results. The DermaFrac is tiny. You can put it anywhere, take it anywhere. I take it in a bag everywhere I go. And these are the serums that are used. And there's Clarify for acne, and we're not doing full blown grade 3, 4. We're doing milder cases, people that have overactive oil in their skin. We use a hydrate, which is super for just about anyone, especially in those mountain regions too, where it's very dry. We have the Rejuvenate that's got all of the great peptides. We've got the Lighten, or now we call it Brighten, with kojic acid. We have a growth factor, a vitamin C, and a custom serum. What's that custom serum? That custom serum is an empty cartridge right here. So if you do PRP, you can simply put it into the cartridge, or if you have your favorite serum on hand that you want, you can also use it. But I got to tell you, we have 10 cc's of fluid in each um, container. So that's a lot of serum. Say if you're using like Victoria Deanne, that's a lot to put into a cartridge. So if that's what you like to do, by all means, this slide right back here. This is the ingredients, and for all of those serums, they're at the bottom of this slideshow. And again, this slideshow is going to live in the DermaFrac group. So you can go in there, you'll be able to scroll through easily, see exactly part of this slideshow that you want to see. So you'll have all the ingredients of all the different serums at the bottom. Okay, so this is what the serum looks like. So it's a 10 milliliter serum, and actually I'll just do this. I just had this one right here. So it just slips into the handpiece. But 10 cc's is a lot of fluid. But sometimes, and again, sometimes it happens when we don't train. So if you are out there, if you're my customer and you still haven't gotten that one-on-one training with me, please sign up right now. Message me. Let's get you going so you get the most out of your DermaFrac. So 10 cc's of serum, and the needle head at the top is, if you're using the green, which is 0.5, it's $42. If you're using the red, which is 0.25, then that is $38. So there is a little difference, and a microdermabrasion tip is just a couple of bucks. So it's very the consumables are very low compared to others. Especially, you have to consider the infusion part. Think about a hydrofacial. And a lot of you out there have the hydrofacial, and you know what it costs you? At least $75 to do a run of the mill hydrofacial from Hydrofacial without the microchanneling. So here we're infusing and also needling. So this is the mechanism. The suction actually pulls that skin up into the needle wheel. And those needles go in at either 0.25 or zero point 0.5, the perfect sweet spot for most of these conditions that we have in the skin. And so I want to let you know too, during these protocols, I'll be talking about the DermaCell Professional Peel. So this is something that I offer to my clients in the packages, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, but I just wanted to show this to you. And you can always contact Tolly at Dermagenesis to order these professional peel pads, which I love. It's a 5-minute peel, and I'll get more into it. So let's get right into a protocol. Okay, so this nice lady, some of you may have seen her from a couple years ago, and what she came in with was a lot of hyperpigmentation, not treatable with the Skin Classic. As you know, I would have probably jumped all over that one, but it was a DermaFrac case. So what we did, I did 2 passes with the microdermabrasion, and this microdermabrasion handpiece is very comfortable in your hand, and a new head for every time you're doing it. So we did 2 passes of microdermabrasion, and then 4 passes of the DermaFrac microneedling. So we would use this with 4 passes of the face, vertical, horizontal, 2 diagonal. We really took a lot of effort on the face. We left the neck, the décolleté alone, because that was not her concern. I really needed to work on this hyperpigmentation. So I did her treatments 2 weeks apart. I did DermaFrac every 2 weeks. And so the week in between, I invite my clients in for that 5-minute peel at no cost. That's included in our package. And my client did use the Dermacell peel kit at home and as well Definage home care, which was in the form of our trio. So it was at $200 per treatment. I'm in a small area, so your per treatments should be 225, 250, whatever you're normally charging for your micro channeling devices. I know some of you charge a lot more. But then if you're using the system, just think about all the time that you're saving yourself and your client and add that into the equation when you're coming up with your price tag, because you could do a lot of these treatments in a day. They're 30 minutes front to back, so you won't be in there an hour or anything like that. So that's how I do my package. Now, for her, and she was very dedicated to her home care. So I charge for the package, I throw in the peels, and I don't discount the service then. This way I get my full price and my client can come in on those off weeks with a light peel. And I want to show you just a little bit of when we're doing the DermaFrac. We do the horizontal, the vertical, and the diagonal. But then,
So
we'll
what I'm
wind up.
going to do is make a third and a fourth pass. This will help really get that serum in there. And this is her second treatment, so I wouldn't necessarily do 4 passes on her very first treatment with me. But since she had a good reaction and her skin looks really good and is in good shape, I'll go ahead with the 4 passes. I missed that area there with the ear. So I'm actually pulling the DermaFrac with my with a very light touch, and what's happening is the skin is being pulled up and the needles are being driven into the area, the 0.5 millimeter area of the skin where the collagen is rebuilt, the elastin. This will help with the melanocytes and get that kojic acid down into the area that will help lighten her skin. Now, I'm at a 3 right now on my DermaFrac. I'm going to turn it up to 5. And I want to really get into these areas here. So what I like to do is, I call them frac kisses. And I make sure that I get in there really well. A little bit more of a focused approach to the microneedling. And you can.
Okay, so you saw how we do the normal DermaFrac, and then we want to do that focused procedure of those kisses. Maybe we're running it back and forth, back and forth. Excuse me. And so now, and this is what I like to talk to my client about
So what
too.
I'm going to do.
Um, Here, when you go back into the slideshow in the group, you'll see the full procedure of how I did this nice lady. So I don't want to bore you with those details right now, but so I like my client to come in every week for that time that they're doing their package. This is only if they need a package, not if they're there for monthly treatments. So this was her. The top left hand was after a series of after her 4th treatment. So when I show her those pictures from before and her 4th, then if I say to her, would you like to go ahead and do another treatment? They usually will say yes because they see the progress. So as you have your client come in the middle of the treatment plan, DermaFrac today, next week, a light peel, you can snap a photo of them and see a difference already within 1 week. So that's what jazzes your clients up. That's what keeps them on the roster. That's what keeps them engaged in their care plan. So that's a big reason why I like to do it as well, because it really substantiates what my treatment protocol was for that client. I just got this sent to me from Tiffany Held in Oklahoma. So she just trained on her DermaFrac just the other day. She was a whiz kid. She was just going at it. So she saw clients later that day and DermaFrac them. And this nice client sent back this picture. I have a bigger picture so you can see the results. And she did it with hydrate and point 0.5. So this was just one treatment. The client took the picture at home and sent it to Tiffany. Now, look at that. Now, I know her bangs are a little over, but just look at the cheeks, look at the hyperpigmentation. And this is not immediately after in the office when you might be a little rosy, when you might be a little fuller. This was a day or so afterwards. And just look at the difference in her skin. Now, I know Tiffany is very jazzed up about these procedures, and she's just been working with it for about a week now, not even. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the vacuum assisted microdermabrasion. It and I'm going to be giving away a handful of the tips. The tips are fine, medium, and coarse. The small round ones are nice for the face. The more longer ones are good for different parts of the body that need a little bit more quickness. You know, they're larger, so you can cover a lot more real estate with the large ones. And a lot of you out there like those large ones for the face too, because you can get through your microdermabrasion in record time. And who doesn't like a good microdermabrasion? This is just a, in case
So how do you all like Big Joe?
It's beautiful.
it's gorgeous.
Adorable.
Wow, it's standing right at you. With my camera. Weather's been nice too. So I'll turn that down there. The cord is very long, so you don't have to have that machine right by your client's ear. But this nice gentleman's enjoying a dermafrac during one of our nurse trainings in Cape Charles. And you can see she's moving along very nicely, very methodically. And so it's a very easy procedure to master. Even for those that just really need a good microdermabrasion, this is the bomb. So okay. So a protocol for somebody maybe just doing just microdermabrasion. Not everybody in your office is going to want to be dermafracked, but people love microdermabrasion. If you're new to the industry, if you're young in your aesthetic practice and you want to do microdermabrasion, go ahead and do it because people know what it is. Women know what microdermabrasion is. If they see it on your menu, chances are they're going to call you and want to get that procedure. So you want to have a microdermabrasion protocol in place. Now, a lot of my people were once a monthers, but when you have someone that needs a good treatment, maybe they're having a wedding in about a month, go ahead and do it once a week for 4 weeks. Make up these consultations for them. This nice lady had a dermaplane, and we did microdermabrasion, 4 passes, a deep red LED, and this is how she came back in a month. So her skin still looked beautiful. She was using good at home skincare, Definage. And so you can see such a nice difference in the way, even she still has the lines in the forehead, but they're not as pronounced. So she was totally thrilled. But that was a protocol, 4 passes with the microdermabrasion, and I do the neck as well. And so you could do those once a week for 4 weeks. And if you're new to the industry, doing the packages is what can fill up your books. And when you do that, your clients are going to get the best results possible instead of dripping and drabbing them like once a month for 4 months. That's no way to do it. get them concentrated so they get a great picture, so they see the importance of coming to see you more often, maybe after a series, once a month, once every 2 weeks if they're inclined to do so. But you really have to make sure that you get their pictures. So this was one treatment in the office with DermaFrac and the for acne scars. So we did rejuvenate serum. We did it at point 0.5. We did passes. We did 4 passes, kisses, more running back and forth. We did LED. And ideally, she was to do one treatment a month, but she's not that type of client. So I haven't seen her in a while, but she still looks great. She uses the Definage Trio, and she also had some hair growth with the DermaFrac. Now, this is a very quick video, but I want you to see this. This was her. This was her second treatment for DermaFrac during one of our nurse trainings, where we run through about 12 to 15 models. You can see how methodical Suzanne is with this procedure. And you're and we did that for 4 passes and made more kisses right over the areas of involvement. Now, Lisa is a great practitioner, and she shared this with us in our DermaFrac group. So if you're not in the group, hurry up, go over there, answer the questions. My trusty assistant will let you in. So here she did the DermaFrac with a point 0.5 and rejuvenate. So the rejuvenate serum has those peptides, and they actually help relax the skin. Look, this was just one treatment, so we haven't gotten any subsequent photos, but this was a huge win for her. Even her lips were hydrated. You could go over the lips with kisses. We don't necessarily roll and pull over the lips, but you can hydrate them terrifically. So, Jen Mansfield, she is such an awesome Skin Classic trainer, provider, and also a DermaFrac provider. And look what beautiful work she did. And this gal, you might think to yourself, I would never microchannel somebody that has this look of redness like rosacea. But that's exactly what Jen did. And she did it with hydrate and 0.25. This was just one treatment. The client needed to be hydrated. Their skin is very dry. So this was the before picture, and that bottom picture was actually when she came back in a month for another treatment. I believe it was a month. It could have been a couple of weeks, but if Jen's on, I'd love to see if she answers that. But this was when she came back for another treatment, and look at the difference. So that is pretty life changing for this client. And in the remarks in the group, you'll see where she was super happy, and her skin just never felt better. So that was a nice win. Okay, so here's a protocol. You have a nice lady coming in, and her granddaughter is getting married in about a month, and she's been poo-pooing, and she's kind of waited a long time to get her skin in shape. So she comes to you, and you have to put them on some type of protocol. So for her, it would be a rejuvenate or growth factor at point 0.5. So I love the rejuvenate for someone like this. This is perfect for her. And I encouraged her to come every 2 weeks for 4 weeks. And she wound up coming. This was just, she came once, and that was her monthly picture when she came back in. She was traveling, couldn't be on my care plan, but look at the difference in her skin during that month. And she also was on Definage Trio Home Care. So this is a really powerful procedure. Even without doing the package, you could see that had I done the package and did it every 2 weeks, and a peel in between, I think she would have gotten even better results, but we'll never know. But this is really great. So I just loved that. And I wanted to let you all know because sometimes I get that question. Well, I want to do a point to a 2.0 microneedling or a 1.5. I really, really, really want to go deep. Well, you know what? I've done that for years, and I always thought the deeper you go, the better it is, but that's not true. You can read this right here, the paper that was published in 2014. The best lengths are zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 millimeter compared to the very deeper needles. So, um, and because it is more comfortable, clients will raise their hands a little bit more and go for that package because if it really hurts, if it's really uncomfortable, if it's really time consuming, they're not going to adhere to what you want them to do. But if it's a 30-minute procedure, they're in, they're out, they're getting great results, well, then they're going to raise their hands. So just make sure of that. Now, this is another great study that was done in my office, and it was for hyperpigmentation. So we did microdermabrasion, 2 passes. We used the Lighten serum at zero point 0.5, 4 passes and kisses, 4 treatments every 2 weeks, and we did the Dermacell peel in between. Also, the client was on Definage Trio home care. So you may have your own home care, and make sure they're on something good. Just don't let them go home and use their oil of Olay or anything. If they're going to commit this kind of money for a treatment, make sure that they're committing by using good at-home skincare. If they just bought something else that's relatively good, that's okay. But if they just went to an Arbonne party and they got all this stuff, tell them to just set that aside until after your treatments are done, and then you can go back to using it. But while you're doing these heavier duty treatments, you really should encourage your client to use what you know they should use. So I want to show you some pictures because, again, when you get these clients to come in and get a picture, that is where they tend to stay on their care plan. Sabrina says, could you do one HA serum and then the next time use a customized serum? Sure, you could use whatever customized serum you like to use, Sabrina, but it's got to be micro needling approved. Not everything that we can put in that cartridge is good to go into the skin. Some are just made to be on the skin. So just make sure with your product people that they know that it is compatible with microneedling. But yes, you could do that for sure. But I'll be honest, you know what? I think all of my dermafrackers out there, I don't know many or any that are using their own serums because these serums are really well targeted and there's quite a bit of it and it needs to be thin. It can't be a very viscous type of serum because it's got to run through, it's gravity fed, but it's also got to slip on that wheel. So that is something. But when it comes to the PRP, that's a great thing to do. Many people do use that. Okay, so for her, the reasons you want them to come back every 2 weeks and have the DermaFrac and the peel in between is because you're going to get a little series of pictures so that when you say to the client, maybe after, I like to do packages of 3 treatments does not um, overly scare your client. If you say 5 treatments at the tune of 200 a piece, that's $1,000. We want to say blah, blah, blah. They don't like that, right? So keep it simple. I say keep your packages to just 3. This way you won't overwhelm them. And if you bring them back every 2 weeks, you'll be able to get a little series of pictures. So you'll be able to collage them for the client and say, wow, look at this nice difference. It was only 2 treatments. Okay, we're going to do your treatment today. Then when they come back for that last little peel that you're going to have them, you take another collage and you let them see. If there's room for improvement, that's when the client will generally say, yeah, let's go ahead and book another DermaFrac. And then you book it like that. Maybe not another full package, but if they want to do another package, by all means, because they'll get the peel in between. But this way, you can let them see the progress, and they're part of their care plan. Let's see what I got here.
So Patty, tell us again what.
Okay, so this was at a Nasson Pro, and I always slap this one in there because a lot of you say, well, point 0.5, we're not going to really get any pinpoint bleeding, but that's not true. I left this in the hands of Patty from Pennsylvania when we were at Nasson Pro, and this was her coworker, and they do microneedling all the time. So she wanted to try the DermaFrac, and she was doing such a great job. She had a little bit of scarring on the side of her neck, and you can see how she's actually very aggressive with this. Now, most of the videos you see me do, you don't see me too aggressive, but that doesn't mean for those of you that like to get more aggressive, more pinpoint bleeding, doesn't mean that you can't. She had very nice, tight skin. Plus, Patty had that ramped up to 5. So she was able to get more of those her desired results. So it's all subjective, and she loved her treatment and was very comparable to what they do in the office as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the hair restoration. So hair restoration in with the DermaFrac is something like this. So in my office, most of the people that I see are my mature women. And on my intake form, on my updated intake form, I have a question. Do you suffer from any hair loss due to chemotherapy, hormonal, yada, yada? And if they check that off, and I'm doing a DermaFrac, I will go ahead and go into those spots in their scalp. And I don't charge them anymore. You could if you wanted to, but it only takes me a few minutes, and it really does help with the hair loss. Now, I use Rejuvenate or the growth factor, DermaFrac point 0.5, multiple passes and kisses. Now, when you have hair, if it was a totally bald spot, you would have good suction. But if there's a little bit of hair there, the kisses are what's actually really going to get the needles into the skin. And I also use the Definage 150 hair serum, and they take it home with them. So they can use that twice a day, and it doesn't leave the hair greasy. And I can put it on at the end of a procedure or even during the microneedling. So it doesn't take very long. But if I have a young man that's suffering from hair loss in the front, maybe some in the back, and if you haven't seen our videos in the group on Damien, our latest nurse to start using DermaFrac, he's already got hair growth. He's already a month out, but even at 2 weeks, his pictures are in the group. You can go ahead and see the hair growth already, and we like to quantify that as well with our derm light. So if you can get pictures, and he's going to share his pictures with us. So if I'm doing a young man that or middle-aged man that has hair loss and they want a protocol is once a week in the office for the DermaFrac, and they take home the serum. Now, there's other modalities that you could also use. In my office, we also do the red light after the procedure, but you might have minoxidil as part of their care plan. But the microneedling and the Definage have been a big hit in my office. And then the Definage is also another add-on to purchase. So if I'm dermafracking the face, I just go into my nice ladies. Usually it's in the front where they have a little bit of hair loss. I'll go in there at no cost. But that's up to you. It's very subjective, but it keeps them loyal. And honestly, it works within just a week or so. So it's pretty it's outstanding for sure. Um, and here's just the end of the procedure with a little definage
Weeks
too.
that I've had the whole house to myself.
Oh,
I'm looking
nice.
forward to it.
So you can see how I go ahead afterwards and put all of this into the scalp where the area that it needed. And this was after her first treatment. We were just doing a maintenance type of thing, but she goes home with that after it's been microneedled. And many of you might have certain lines that you're working with that have something like that. So this was one treatment. This nice lady went to her hairdresser 2 weeks after her treatment with me and was shocked at how her hair had come in. She had a couple spots in the front, and she's fairly young in her 40s. So it's a real game changer. But I added it into her facial for acne scarring. I just did that for her at no charge because she bought the serum too. So if I break it down like this, I want to make sure that I get my full CC syringe either used up, and of course, I don't want there to be anything left over. So if they have issues with the face, a lot of hyperpigmentation, a lot of acne scarring, I'm just going to stay to the face. 4 passes, um, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, plus kisses, plus going back and forth over acne scars, hyperpigmentation, keeping that suction on, not breaking the suction. And that way, I'll probably use up that whole syringe. I just want to show you when you hold up, you can see what fluid is in there. This is a full syringe, but then as you start to see it come down here, you think, oh, okay, well, there's a little bit left. So with that, I bring it down to 1 and I make quick little passes, just enough to let all of that serum out onto those open holes, hydrate the skin a little bit more. So that is on 1, and just short little strokes just to let the rest of the serum out so that you use it all up. I always feel like I don't want to jip my clients. I want them to have a full syringe in their face. Now, if you're doing a red carpet treatment, say like I have a lot of monthlies and I do their face, neck, and décolleté, but I do 2 passes with the DermaFrac. This way, that's a lot of real estate, but that 10 cc syringe will go face, neck, and décolleté. So when you're doing facials, when you're doing procedures like that, we like to do this without charging extra because it's the 10 cc syringe. It's still about 22 minutes for me to do that with either a dermaplane first or the microdermabrasion first. So most of my videos are timed and you will see how quick it is without me rushing. I never rush my clients at all. So this is a great way to think about using your serum um, judiciously so that you don't have too much and you don't want to work too fast or too slow. Too slow, you will use up too much serum. Too fast, you'll have too much serum left over. So there's a lot of videos out there. My 30-minute video, which is also in the group, is something that you can look at to see the tempo, to see how I'm doing it, because I use up all my serum during that treatment. And don't forget to DermaFrac yourselves too. Um, Here we're going to see a little bit
Heather
of,
has
okay.
such thick hair.
She's got like horsehair almost.
Yeah. Well, see, mine used to be like that when my hair was long.
So we're in the areas of involvement. And this was really just like a touch up because her hair came back really very nice. So she was in for her monthly DermaFrac. So I just did a monthly maintenance on the scalp, and she still continues to purchase the hair serum. So it's a real win win. She didn't have any other hair loss elsewhere. So also, sometimes you want to, this is in the group, this will live in the group. You want to put something out on Facebook. I have these posts that you can use along with video if you like. Just make sure you go into the group. You can copy, paste, download the video, and have instant advertisements. So people's watermarks are on them, so you're more than welcome to use them. Here is another as well. So feel free to use those. And as promised, here is the ingredient lists for the hydrate, the growth factor, the lighten with the kojic acid, the vitamin C, the clarify, and there we go. So I thank you all very much. I'm going to look and see who's here. Oh, so I have all my DermaFrackers here. That's just pretty awesome. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're Tiffany. I thought I did say Oklahoma, but you are Indiana. Okay, so I'm going to scroll and then I'm going to hang on, I'm going to scroll, and this is for the microdermabrasion tips, and a DermaFrac growth factor goes to Coral Anderson in La Vida. Coral. And Coral's got the old version of the DermaFrac, which was manufactured years ago. It's a big tabletop, but she still rocks it with that. So pretty awesome. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to message me. And this slideshow will live in the DermaFrac group, so you can go over it and look at it anytime you like. I so appreciate you guys coming here and visiting with me. I shall see you all soon. And thanks again. Get dermafracking. If you have any questions at all, drop them here in the comments or private message me. You know you can always get a hold of me. And let's get those before and afters up in the group. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.